The history of tea, from ancient legend to global empire. Have you ever wondered how a simple cup of tea became one of the most popular drinks in the world? Today, billions of people start their morning with tea. Some drink it for comfort, some for energy, some for tradition. But behind this simple drink lies a fascinating story of emperors, monks, trade routes, wars, revolutions, and global empires. Let's travel back nearly 5,000 years to discover the incredible history of tea. Chapter 1. The legendary discovery. Our story begins in ancient China around 2737 BCE. According to legend, Emperor Shen Nong, known as the Divine Farmer, was boiling water under a tree when a few leaves drifted into his pot. Curious about the pleasant smell, he tasted the water and felt refreshed and energized. Those leaves came from a wild tea tree. And just like that, tea was born. Now, whether this story is fully true or not, we do know that tea drinking began in China thousands of years ago. At first, tea wasn't a daily beverage. It was medicine. Ancient Chinese herbal texts describe tea as a healing plant, good for digestion, alertness, and detoxifying the body. People would chew fresh tea leaves or boil them in soups. It was simple, practical, and medicinal. But soon, tea would become something much bigger. Chapter 2. Tea becomes a culture. During the Tang Dynasty, between 618 and 907 CE, tea transformed from medicine into a daily drink. This was when tea culture truly began. A man named Lu Yu wrote the first book about tea called The Classic of Tea. In it, he described how tea should be grown, processed, prepared, and even how it should be served. Tea was no longer just a drink. It was an art. It was philosophy. It was lifestyle. Tea houses began appearing in Chinese cities. People gathered to drink tea, talk, relax, and share ideas. During the Song Dynasty, tea preparation became even more refined. People would grind tea into powder and whisk it into hot water, creating a frothy drink, very similar to modern matcha. Tea competitions were popular. People judged the color, taste, and foam. Tea had become elegance. Chapter 3. Tea and Buddhism. Tea also played a powerful role in religion. Buddhist monks drank tea to stay awake during long meditation sessions. It helped them concentrate and remain alert. In the 9th century, Japanese monks who studied in China brought tea seeds back to Japan. Over time, Japan developed its own tea culture, the famous Japanese tea ceremony. This ceremony wasn't just about drinking tea. It was about harmony, respect, peace, and mindfulness. Tea became spiritual. Chapter 4. Tea travels the world. For centuries, China guarded its tea secrets carefully. But trade routes slowly carried tea across Asia. It traveled to Tibet, where people mixed it with butter and salt. It spread to Mongolia and Central Asia. Then in the 16th century, European traders finally discovered tea. Portuguese merchants were among the first to bring tea to Europe. Soon after, the Dutch began importing it in larger amounts. At first, tea was extremely expensive. Only rich people could afford it. In Europe, tea was sold as medicine. Doctors claimed it could cure headaches and stomach problems. It became fashionable among royalty and aristocrats. And then tea reached England. Chapter 5. Britain falls in love with tea. In the 1600s, tea arrived in England. When Catherine of Braganza married King Charles II, she brought her love of tea to the royal court. Soon, drinking tea became a trend among the British upper class. By the 1700s, tea was everywhere. But there was one problem. Tea was heavily taxed. The British government placed high taxes on tea, making it expensive. Smuggling became common. Despite this, tea became Britain's national drink. In the 1800s, the tradition of afternoon tea was introduced by the Duchess of Bedford. People would gather for tea, sandwiches, and cakes. Tea was no longer just a drink. It was a social event. Chapter 6. Tea causes a revolution. Now here's where tea changes history. In 1773, the British government passed the Tea Act, allowing the British East India Company to sell tea directly to the American colonies. The colonists were angry. They believed they were being taxed unfairly. On December 16, 1773, a group of American protesters boarded British ships in Boston Harbor and threw 342 chests of tea into the water. This event became known as the Boston Tea Party. And it helped spark the American Revolution. A cup of tea had helped start a war for independence. Chapter 7. The Tea Empire expands. For centuries, China controlled the global tea supply. But Britain wanted independence from Chinese tea. In the 1800s, the British discovered wild tea plants growing in Assam, India. They began building massive tea plantations. Later, when coffee crops failed in Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, tea plantations replaced them. Tea production exploded. India and Sri Lanka became major tea exporters. Plantation life, however, was harsh. Workers faced difficult conditions. Still, tea had become a global industry. Chapter 8. Tea in the Modern Age. In the early 1900s, tea became even more convenient. An American merchant accidentally invented the tea bag in 1908 when customers dipped small silk sample bags into hot water. It changed tea forever. Today, tea is grown in more than 60 countries. China, India, Kenya, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh are major producers. Different processing methods create black tea, green tea, white tea, oolong tea, pu'er tea, each with unique flavors and traditions. In South Asia, chai with milk and spices is part of daily life. In Britain, tea means comfort. In Morocco, mint tea symbolizes hospitality. In Japan, tea means mindfulness. In Turkey, tea is served all day long. Tea connects cultures. Final thoughts. From a legend in ancient China, to royal courts in Europe, to sparking revolutions, to shaping global trade, tea is more than just a drink. It is history in a cup. The next time you hold a cup of tea, remember, you are holding thousands of years of culture, tradition, struggle, and connection. One small leaf changed the world. And it continues to bring people together, one sip at a time.